Almost every action we take is the result of past learning. Yet for some people, learning still remains an activity undertaken in or associated with an educational context. As babies, we learn to eat, to gain attention, to crawl, to walk, etc. And as we develop into children and our bodies become more functional, we learn an inordinate range of skills. Welcome to Puzzle Academy, the place where we can help you to build the pieces to the puzzle of success. Thanks for choosing to spend time with us today. If you are new here, we are happy to welcome you. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at puzzleacademy.learn. Traditionally, research and studies around learning focus primarily on early years learning through childhood and adolescence. However, it is now recognized that learning is a continuous process that commences at birth and continues until death. It is the process through which we use our experience to deal with new situations and to develop relationships. A lot of our learning occurs randomly throughout life, from new experiences, gaining information, and from our perceptions. For example, reading a newspaper or watching a news broadcast, talking with a friend or colleagues, chance meetings, and unexpected experiences. Teaching, training, and other structured learning opportunities are activities that one person does to another, while learning is something we can only do for ourselves. Learning involves far more than thinking. It involves the whole personality, senses, feelings, intuition, beliefs, values, and will. If we do not have the will to learn, we will not learn. And if we have learned, we are actually changed in some way. If the learning makes no difference, it can have very little significance beyond being random ideas that float through our consciousness. Learning needs to meet some personal need, and recognizing and identifying such needs enables us to evaluate whether the learning has been worthwhile and successful. Learning occurs when we are able to, first, gain a mental or physical grasp of the subject, make sense of a subject, event, or feeling by interpreting it into our own words or actions. Third, use our newly acquired ability or knowledge in conjunction with skills and understanding we already possess. And lastly, do something with the new knowledge or skill and take ownership of it. There are a vast range of theories that attempt to explain and demonstrate the way that people learn. The following list is generic and identifies the key principles associated with all types of learning, and it can be applied to group situations as well as when learning alone or with a mentor, tutor, or trainer. This list is not exhaustive, but it should, however, help you to understand some of the key concepts of learning. Number 1. People learn best when they are treated with respect and are not talked down to or treated as ignorant. Establishing ground rules at the start of a training session will reinforce this important principle. However, for the training to be most effective and to involve full participation, the trainer should model such exemplar behavior. Number 2. Learning opportunities should, when possible, be linked to previous positive experience. This involves self-awareness on the part of the learner and understanding and empathy on the part of any facilitator. Learning can be blocked by past negative experiences. Some people who hated school cannot bear to be in classroom situation, for example. Number 3. When possible, learners should take part in the planning of learning activities. Learners should be encouraged to self-directing in terms of goal setting, since this usually improves commitment and motivation and increases participation. Facilitators should examine the expectation of the learner at the start of the course or session to help to encourage self-direction. Number 4. People learn best when their physical environment is comfortable. In group situations, a positive, emotional, and supportive environment is also important. Individuals in groups tend to learn best when they can socialize and interact with other group members. Number 5. Interaction with the facilitator is vital. People need to be able to react, questions, and voice opinions on what they are learning. Generally, in group situations, quieter members should be gently encouraged for their input. Number 6. Learning activities and delivery need to be varied. To cover the range of different learning styles and help the learner maintain interest and motivation, in a classroom setting, for example, including discussions or other activities, especially some sort of problem solving as part of a lesson or lecture, will enable learners to interact and engage with the subject. Number 7. Instant rewards help. People learn best if the results and rewards of learning are made clear and can be demonstrated during or immediately after the learning experience. And last but not the least, we need to remember that the self-evaluation and reflective practice is important. Learners should be encouraged to reflect on what they have learned and think about ways that they can further their knowledge. In addition to that, our individual learning capacity varies considerably and will depend not only on ability but also on motivation, personality, learning style, and an awareness of our own learning processes. Working on an awareness of our own learning processes means learning how to learn. For example, in university settings, students are usually taught some study skills, which include learning how to seek information when needed and how to use it appropriately. In summary, learning is an internal activity and a key personal development skills. Learning is not something that can be directly observed in others. We can, however, observe the results of learning in ourselves and others. This is why in formal learning situations, assessment is such a crucial part of the teaching process. The results of academic assessment, essays, exams, or etc. are simply attempts to measure how much an individual has learned, but they cannot measure the actual process of learning. Learning brings about changes in the way we act, think, and or feel about ourselves, other people, and the world around us. Such changes may be permanent or temporary depending on our own perceptions on the importance and relevance of the gained knowledge. We appreciate your time for staying with us until the end. Let us continue our mission in developing our learning skills. Now, for you to be guided, we handpicked the next part of this quest. Thank you for listening.